Hello, everyone. I'm Grant Cohn. That's my dear friend and colleague, Botond in Budapest. And we got a big show for you today. I have a conspiracy theory that I just came up with that's been percolating for a while. And then we have a lot of topics that's been on Botond's mind. Botond, how are you?
Hey, everyone. I'm fine, thanks. Glad to be here as always. I'm usually tired at this time, but today I'm not tired at all. So I'm excited. These are just some great topics that I want to talk about. So
we usually talk on a Monday, and Mondays are tough. But today, Tuesday, you're in the swing of things.
Yeah,
you're dressed really well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so this is my topic. Are Jed and Kyle feuding? Now, I know this sounds ridiculous. There's really not like overt evidence of this. Let me just tell you why my mind went here. First of all, the question on everyone's mind is why is Kyle Shanahan talking so much? And it's a good question. And from my experience with Jim Harbaugh and Trent Baalke, when these very powerful figures in the 49ers organization start talking to the media a lot, it's because their job is in jeopardy and you don't know it. It's possible that Jed has put Kyle on the hot seat already. I mean, we're talking about a guy in Jed York who's never had a head coach more than 4 years, ever. And he's fired a bunch. Harbaugh lasted 4. This is year 5 for Kyle Shanahan. He has 1 winning season. Are we to assume that Jed York would be, okay with another losing season, that Kyle Shanahan doesn't have to win? That's the backdrop of all this. But I have a bunch of little circumstantial evidence things to point out. I mean, I've written them down. Just erratic behavior on both sides, starting with Kyle, all the talking he's done, going on the Flying Coach podcast, talking about wanting Stafford, contradicting the organization's narratives about Trey Lance, reminding Sean McVay, the world, Jed York, that the 49ers were not Kyle Shanahan's first choice, almost like, hey, remember how desperate you were when I came here. And then there's Jed's kind of weird tweets the last couple of years trying to make it seem like it's a one big happy family. What's that about? The practice violations, the fines, the canceling of minicamp. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there actually could be some tension there that is under the surface. I mean, also, how about all the leaks? Where did those come from? Why did everyone think the Niners were taking Mac Jones? Maybe Kyle thinks that Jed leaked all that information and that Jed put him in a tough position, backed him into a corner to a point where he got the entire fan base in a frenzy, couldn't take Mac Jones, had to take someone else. Maybe he feels like, I don't know. There's a lot of things going on here, and I'm trying to make sense of it. Is it possible that these two aren't as BFF as we think?
Maybe this is the first time when I should say, because I do think that somehow right now the media is overreacting this thing. First of all, you all know, or you all may know that the first 3 or 4 times when I was here, we were talking about conspiracy theories, which we made, and some of them came true. Mm-hmm. Possibly your theory right now can become true soon. But to be honest, I don't think that this will happen. In my opinion, the thing why Kai doesn't talk too much about Trey Lance is because he knows that right now the stakes are really high. And he also knows that Trey isn't in a comfortable position because we all know how much they gave up for Trey Lance. We all know that if Jimmy fails this season, everyone wants Trey to be an instant starter for the 49ers who can lead this franchise back to a victorious season. And these are hard things for a rookie quarterback who doesn't even have so much college experience. And he couldn't deal with these things.
Right.
That's why I think so that it's somehow a plan that they don't talk too much about Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. I mean, when Kyle said a lot of good things about Matt Stafford, he said that, in my opinion, just because to put some pressure onto the shoulder of Jimmy Garoppolo, because we all know that Jimmy will start week 1. We all know that that the media and our franchise wants to make us believe that if they put some pressure onto the shoulders of Jimmy, then he will perform better. And when we signed him, he was great. hopefully he will be great again. And that's why I think that it's somehow a psychological thing, but it's not in connection with Trey Lance. It's in connection with Jimmy Garoppolo. On the other hand, yeah, we all know Jed and Kyle, and we all know that these two guys are, they share some things between each other. So they are same stubborn, because they are. They like to blame other people if they fail, because they do that all the time. And and they are really passionate. And that's why, in my experiences, when two guys with these kind of similarities meet and they become friends somehow, I just don't know how could this possibly happen. But if they became friends, then it's hard for that not to be a roller coaster relationship between them. So yeah, it's a possibility that that somehow their relationship is ruined by in the past few years, because the lack of success that the 49ers had.
Look, Botond, I think it's possible that even though Jed is making it seem like, Kyle's going to be a Niner for life and they're like part of a family and they're really good friends, that Jed said to John and Kyle before this offseason, look, you guys have to win this year. I love you guys, but I can't take another losing season. You guys have, this is a must-win season. And when you say it's a must-win season, you're essentially putting both people on the hot seat, and we're all expecting they're going to win this year. I expect they're going to win 12 games. No one's expecting the worst to happen, but I think it's probably been expressed it's a must-win year. You've got to win. And this is when I feel like Kyle is trying to get his narrative out there. I mean, it's fair to say, okay, well, if Kyle's been told in January it's a must-win year, then he's going to say, okay, well, I need a new starting quarterback. I don't want my job to be dependent on Jimmy Garoppolo's durability, because I'm screwed in that case. And then that starts off the whole offseason of looking for a new starting quarterback, and maybe why he was more interested in Mac Jones at first. Maybe he thought at first that Mac Jones was more pro-ready or whatever. And he gets talked, maybe he gets overruled. Maybe the organization says you need Trey Lance. And Kyle's here again saying, okay, but am I still in the hot seat with this 21-year-old kid? Like, what's going on? It seems like Kyle keeps going on and trying to say, I wanted a starter. I wanted a starter. I want to win. It wasn't even my first choice to come here. I don't know, man. It seems like he's getting awfully chatty in ways that people on the hot seat often do.
This is the first time, if I accept all these things that you have said in the past couple of minutes about this thing, that I fear for Jed York, because, we can say a lot of things about him, but I'm pretty sure that he's in love with this organization, although he did a lot of terrible things, although he had some mistakes.
I agree with you. I think he sincerely wants to do well. He wants to be the next Eddie D.
And, as when you hire a GM and a head coach, it's like when you are giving your child to a grandparent or just to your friends, and you just don't accept if after they meet your friends or your parents, their grandparents, they came back and they are criticizing you and they are doing things horribly wrong, not like you have told them to do this. So yeah, somehow I can feel for Jed York. Somehow I can understand if he put Kyle and John on a hot seat after the last season and the season before the Super Bowl loss. So yeah, if Kyle is on a hot seat, if he fails again and Jed York is just going to get rid of him, I can fully agree with him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say, guys, it's year 5. You got to win. I think it's fair to say that. I don't know what you do if they don't, but I think what we're seeing here this offseason is nerves. Yeah. It's very tense in that organization this year. It's year 5. They got to win. It ain't no brick by brick baloney anymore. It's produced this year, and they expect they will, but they have these issues, the injury stuff, quarterback uncertainty. It's not a lock that they're going to win 11 games and go to the playoffs. It's probably very tense there right now. And let me just go down the path of what could happen. Let's say they lose a bunch of games and things go terribly wrong this year. They get hurt again, and the quarterback thing splits the locker room, and they're basically Philly from last year. What do? You know what I think Jed is thinking? It's what he was thinking at the end of the Harbaugh year. He's thinking, man, I got this killer roster. I can get rid of this coach, and a lot of people want to coach this. I mean, what they could do, they could keep the whole thing the same, get rid of Kyle, make DeMeco Ryans the head coach, who Fred Warner's been campaigning for, and then just elevate Mike McDaniel to play caller. I'm not saying it's going to come to that, but because I think the Niners are going to win 12 games this year. I do. I think they're going to be okay, and they're going to have a lot of success going forward with Trey Lance and Kyle Shanahan. But that's probably what Jed York is starting to think about. Like, what's my move if the unthinkable happens one more time? That's a move that's in character for him. And Kyle knows his stuff. He must be a little nervous. I'd be a little nervous. I mean, it's football. Injuries happen. It's not really all in your control.
I mean, he should be nervous right now.
Yes.
He should be.
And I think he's kind of talking like it. When you're nervous, you talk a lot.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
You overtalk. All right. Let's switch gears entirely. Enough conspiracy theories. Thanks for entertaining me, really. This is something concrete. Any free agents the Niners should sign, there's a bunch out there. I was just looking through. I found a guy I haven't mentioned all off season. I'd like to hear your name first.
For me, it's Marvin Ingram.
Okay.
I mean, he's an experienced guy. He can be a great addition for our defensive line, which won't be as dominant as it was in the Super Bowl year. I talked a lot about that, why I think that. And, of course, he can help our young defensive ends and defensive tackle to develop themselves onto a higher level, because when he played, he was on a high level, in my opinion. And still, he can be a great addition for this team. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. I mean, he's a little expensive. They'd have to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo first, but hell of a player. Yeah. Okay. Turn it down a little bit. I think you're getting a little feedback, Botond.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. Just a minute.
Okay.
It's okay right now?
Yes. Oh, it's perfect. All right. So here's my guy. Nick Easton. He's an offensive lineman. He was the starting center for the Saints the last 2 years. He started off his career playing for Kubiak in Denver, I believe. Then he came to the Niners and played for the Niners in 2015 when Tom Sula was the head coach. Went to Minnesota, played for Kubiak again, then went to the Saints, played for Sean Payton. They cut him this offseason because he was due about $6 million. He's in his 20s. He'd be a hell of a starting right guard, backup center. Just saying, the Niners expect their offensive line to be really, really good, but maybe getting a guy who's like proven to be good would be a nice addition. He's out there. You could get him for a couple million. Nick Easton. I'm still worried about this offensive line. I'm not certain that adding a 36-year-old center and a couple of rookies is going to necessarily, fix it. How about a guy who's 28, 29, and who's been a solid starting center worth about $5-6 million the last few years? It fits the system too.
I see your point, but I don't think that center will be a much needed position for this team throughout the season. I don't mind that. I don't think that Alex Mack will be injured, and I do think that if they give some reps to Dan Brunskill in center, he can be an at least decent center for this team. I'm still thinking of him as one of the most underrated guys on this roster.
I love Daniel Brunskill. In fact, I think we shouldn't just assume that he's not going to be the starting right guard. I know they drafted Aaron Banks. I haven't seen Aaron Banks in pads yet. I haven't seen Trey Lance in pads yet either. But Aaron Banks, who knows? He may not be as good as Daniel Brunskill this year. It could be Brunskill starting at right guard, Alex Mack starting at center, and no real good backup center for the second year in a row. And now you're one injury away to a 36-year-old center away from being just where you were last year. So if it's not Nick Easton, I wouldn't be against the Niners bringing in just another backup center for insurance, because I think they're thinner on that line than they want to believe.
Another interesting name to the offensive line, Russell Okung.
Russell Okung, yeah, absolutely. A tackle, that's a good point now that they're down a tackle.
Yeah.
Now, I doubt he would sign on to a place to be a swing tackle backup, but I don't know what his mindset is right now. Perhaps they definitely need another backup, because their backup tackle right now, who is it? Is it Brunskill? I mean, their backup tackle right now is their starting right guard. They're in a
I
tough
do
spot.
think that it's Bransky who is right now, or backup tackle,
John
backup
Cole
guard,
maybe, or
and
something.
backup center.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this offensive line is a little thin.
Yeah, there are holes.
You got guys like Jalen Moore and Colton McKivitz, but I don't know. It might bring in a vet for camp at least.
Yeah,
I mean, Tom Compton doesn't count.
We are always talking about the cornerback position as our thinnest, but if we are thinking about it, our offensive line has as much holes as our cornerback position does have right now. So
yeah, and I'm focused on center. You just pointed out offensive tackle. I mean, geez, they don't have a swing tackle. So yeah, again, Brunskill could be the starting right guard, and if so, they have a million backup guards, no real backup center, and no real backup tackle. They have a lot of guards on this team, though, so they should look into that. Yeah, glad I got that off my chest. All right, here's an interesting thought. Before Trey Lance takes over for good, which could be years from now, according to Jed York, do you think Kyle Shanahan will find ways to put Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo on the field at the same time? Will we ever see a Jimmy Trey package?
I do think yes. After further thinking, I was thinking of it a lot of times during this off season because it's cucumber season. You have a lot of time to think about these things. So
serious cucumber season right now.
So what is happening in the comment section that you are making these faces? Sorry. So so I had a lot of time to talk about this, and I'm still thinking that I do think that there are going to be some wildcat packages when we will put Trey Lance onto the field alongside Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm sorry, my dog, my fiance just arrived, and
hello,
and he just wants to greet his mom,
of course.
So I do think that they will do some wildcat formation during next season, and it's mainly because of the style of the playbook that Kyle had in the past. So if you think of it, the 49ers offensive playbook was all about the timing, all about the fact that the defense always reacts to the offense, and you have to use that delay of time to make big plays. And I do think when we are thinking about these kind of offensives, we are talking about the real genius of Kyle Shanahan, because what he does the best is making great timings when designing plays. And with wildcat formation, with the amount of talent that we have in the offense, we can just make other defenses confused.
Yes. Yeah. And I think if they don't start Trey Lance, he has to play.
Yeah.
He has to play a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a great way to gain experience, in my opinion. So why not put Trey Lance onto the field? Why not doing some great, tricky college plays to make other defenses look like clowns or things like that? Why not? I do think that if there's somebody in this league as a head coach who can make the most of a wildcat play, it's Kyle Shanahan. It must be Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this could be a red zone package for sure, because most of the good offensive coordinators have a wildcat red zone package now. So hard to run the ball in the red zone because the safeties are right up in your face as opposed to 10, 15 yards back. There's less space. It's like having 9 in the box. So the way to even that out is to turn the quarterback into a runner, use the wildcat. I think that we're going to see that from Trey Lance when he's a starter too. So, yeah, I do think we'll see that. I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo will be on the field for it, though. They could just take him off. They could put him on the sideline. The thing with putting the quarterback on the field as a wide receiver, the reason they do that is if you didn't have the quarterback on the field, the defense would take off their corners and bring on just linebackers, safeties, tacklers, because you wouldn't be worried about a throw. So you have the quarterback out there just in case the defense overshifts to stopping the run. Then you can motion around, put the quarterback back in there and throw the ball. It's to keep them honest. But with Trey Lance back there, who can really throw as well, you may not need to keep him honest with Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what I'm saying? So even with the Wildcat, you might just say, Jimmy, stand over here on the sideline next to me right here. I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah.
That's it. I like that idea, though. I do like that idea. All right. This isn't one of your topics. The future of the Niners running game as dictated by their recent signings and draft picks. What do you foresee?
Yeah, in my opinion, as I saw the Niners offense in the past couple of seasons, I would think of them as a heavy running team, but not for short gains, but for longer gains. So they are just a great running team with a lot of potential because they have guys like Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. If Jalen Hurts can stay healthy, he can be one of those weapons who can run the ball as well, not just catch balls. But last season, what I saw was that a lot of teams have found a solution to make the 49ers offense look less great than they were in the past. And as I saw our draft picks, for example, Trey Sermon, who is a completely different style of runner, he's fast as hell, but he's more like a heavy hitter as a running back, in my opinion. I mean, I do think that we will change the style how we run the ball. I expect the 49ers offense to be more like an inside zone running team. I see them more like a team which will use their fullback finally with Trey Sermon for everything that Kyle Shanahan is capable of. Because in my opinion, it's ridiculous that you don't use a guy like him who can do a lot of things and who is an excellent run blocker. I do think that after George Kittle, he is the greatest run blocker this team has right now. And somehow it's sad that it's not an offensive lineman, in my opinion. So I see this team as a regular running team, not a special outside zone running, fast and cheeky team. They will have some plays, that style of plays with Raheem Mostert and the other fast guys like that. But I think they will rely much more in the future as time controlling, slow running, 3 yard, 4 yard gains running team. That's how I see them right now.
I think what we've seen with the entire Shanahan-McVay coaching tree, that outside zone stuff, is that defenses, well, they've been doing it for about 4, 5, 6 years, a long time, and it's been effective. And defenses it's become like the dominant offense in the NFL, and defensive coordinators have done a pretty good job of countering that run game. They put that 5-6 man front. The Patriots showed it in the Super Bowl when they shut down McVay and the Rams. You set the edge. You do not let them get the edge with the jet sweeps, the outside zones. You keep them between the tackles where their offensive linemen aren't that physically dominant. Their running backs aren't that physically dominant. You dictate the cutback. And it seems like that's been really effective. For the Rams, their adjustment has been to go from a 3 wide receiver offense to a 2 tight end offense to kind of widen their front and try to get the edge that way. It's pretty good for them. The Niners are now, I think, switching to more of an 11-on-11 Greg Roman, Jim Harbaugh throwbacks, not throwback, but that kind of thing. I think he's switching up to that. And when you have the quarterback in the shotgun running zone read with the running back's running up the A gap usually. And so that's the guy who's threatening the edge is Trey Lance now. So I think we're going to see a lot of Aaron Banks, 325 pounds at guard. It's going to be him and Alex Mack and Laken Tomlinson doing a lot of double teams at the point of attack and Sermon following that double team. That's what the Niners offense is going to look like. It hasn't looked like that before. In the past, they would do some of that with an RPO with Jimmy Garoppolo either handing off to Jeff Wilson Jr. up the middle or pulling it back and throwing a slant to someone. But now it's going to be the old zone read like it was with Colin Kaepernick and Carlos Hyde, Frank Gore.
Yeah, can't wait to see that, because I think that right now it has a lot of potential. With Trey Lance, who is, in my opinion, a much better thrower than Colin Kaepernick was.
Right, and what's going to be cool about this run game is it's not just going to be that. If they just wanted that, they could have drafted Justin Fields. What's intriguing about Lance is he does all the under center stuff too. So he can do the stuff Jimmy Garoppolo does. He can do all of that from the run game perspective, plus the zone read from the gun, all that stuff. And it's going to be the most diverse, voluminous run game in the NFL, even more so than the Ravens, because the Ravens are pretty married to the pistol.
Yeah.
The Niners can do that. The Niners can do the pistol. They can do the gun, but they can also do the under center stuff too. They could never throw the ball. They could throw the ball 15 times a game. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. That's why I do think that this season, or from the time when Trey will be or starting quarterback, will be the most exciting season in the past couple of years for the fans.
Like a run game, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if you like good quarterback play, so yeah, I'm with you. That's why I want to see it week 1. This leads us into our next topic. Will Shanahan change the entire 49ers offensive playbook for Trey Lance?
He will and he will not at the same time. I do think that they will keep all the other plays that they had with Jimmy Garoppolo, but they will add a lot of other options, which will make our offense much more colorful and much more. It's going to have much more potential than it had before, because they can just switch to a completely different game plan from game to game. And I do think that with Trey Lance in the future, no one could expect what is going to happen next game on the offensive side of the ball from the 49ers.
Yes.
So yeah, he will change a lot. But I do think that he will keep everything that worked before.
So. No question. And I think that's that's the difference between Justin Fields, Trey Lance. With Justin Fields, you'd have to go all in with kind of like the RG3 offense that he used 10 years ago. With Trey Lance, you can use everything. You can do that. You can do the under center stuff. And that's why I say, like, if Kyle Shanahan were answering this question, he would probably say, no, I'm not going to change my offensive playbook. My playbook is huge. It has everything in it. Look what I did with RG3. Look what I did in Atlanta. Look what I've done here with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's 3 completely different offenses. What he would say is, really, these quarterbacks I've had have limited my offense. I want to do this, but Jimmy could do this. RG3 could do this. Matt Ryan could do this. I want to do this, and I think Trey Lance eventually will allow me to do this. So that would be his answer. That actually everyone else has just limited it, and this will be the full expression.
Yeah, that's why I said that from all those rookie quarterbacks, in my opinion, Trey Lance has the most potential. I mean, in my opinion, right now, okay, I haven't seen him play ball too much, but I do think that he can just do everything. He is a physical freak. He is a great thrower. He is still very young. He can still be coached to be one of the greatest quarterbacks. He has a lot of potential. It depends on the coaches.
Right. Like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, excellent prospects, have the potential to be serious passers who are mobile enough to extend a play, but they're not going to be doing like the 11-on-11 type quarterback run game stuff that Trey Lance can do as well. And I think the idea with Lance is he may start out as a, run as much as he throws, kind of complementary piece in the offense the way Russell Wilson was early on in his career, but he can develop because he's so obsessed with learning the mental side of the game as well as such a hard worker. So yeah, he can do it too. But his potential is so off the charts. I mean, even compared to Mahomes, who looks like the best quarterback, going to be the best quarterback of the decade, Mahomes isn't really a runner either. He'll scramble 2-3 times a game, but like if you actually run the ball with him, he gets hit. I mean, he almost got hurt in the playoffs. He was hurt in the playoffs. So this Trey Lance, I mean, he's a lot like Josh Allen in that sense. And Josh Allen seems like he's still getting better. There's nothing Josh Allen can't do. And that's kind of be what Trey Lance can do as well. There's nothing he can't do.
Yeah, and that's why I'm excited and afraid at the same time, because I don't know how great our QB coaches are right now at the time. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan can develop a young quarterback into a great quarterback, because we don't have a great example of him doing that.
So a funny question. We talk like, is Trey Lance ready for the 49ers? How about, are the Niners ready for Trey? That's the most talented quarterback they've had walk into the building since Steve Young. Are they ready to nurture this kid?
Not sure.
I'd like to think that they are, but they need to rise to the occasion because they didn't exactly nurture Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, they surprised us in the past with great coaching. I do think that for most of us, Robert Saleh was a surprise that he was as great as he was. And hopefully, our QB coach and Kyle Shanahan can live up to the expectations and being as great as Robert Saleh was for this defense. I don't know.
Yeah, and I want to come back to full circle. I was saying earlier, like if the Niners lose this year, Jed York might get rid of Kyle and promote D'Amico. No. If Kyle loses this year and Jed York decides to fire him, you bring in someone who has developed a quarterback before. And God love Kyle Shanahan. He's never done that. He's done a great job with offense. He's had prolific offenses. He's made Matt Schaub a Pro Bowler. He's made Matt Ryan an MVP. He's done a great job with certain quarterbacks, but he's never. I mean, the closest thing he did to develop a quarterback was RG3, who had one good year, and Kirk Cousins, who never played for him. He played for McVay. So that's the way you go. And I think from Jed's perspective, if he were to get rid of Kyle, a lot of people would want to coach Trey Lance. It wouldn't be like calling up Tom Sula again. Yeah. People would want this the way they would want to coach Josh Allen. Robert Whitaker says, Trey can run. I worry that if he runs a lot, it could impact his season-to-season health and the longevity of his career. Thoughts on this? It's a great point. Let's finish here.
Yeah, I mean, that's why.
Look at Wentz.
Yeah, that's why I'm afraid as well because I said before, I said it today that I do think that Kyle is stubborn, and I do think that if Kyle thinks that something is working against the team, he will do that all the time with different types of plays, but he will do that all the time. And I played some quarterback as an American football player, and I was a scrambler. And I was almost as stubborn as Kyle is. So when nobody was open, I was always running the ball. And right now, I just can't make a difference between my knees because all of them are bad. So what I try to say is that, a running quarterback is always a threat to his own health. And that's why I'm concerned. That's why I'm afraid. And that's why I'm excited at the same time, because I don't know if Trey can stay healthy in the long term.
Yeah, that's the thing with these. I always advocate for teams to draft, to do exactly what the Niners did. Get a young quarterback on a rookie deal who's cheap and mobile, who can do everything. That's great, but is there longevity there? Is he look at Cam Newton. He was great until he was 25, got hit into oblivion, never was the same, never was really good in his late 20s. He just didn't have the longevity. Will Lamar Jackson have it? I don't know. You kind of have to transition into a real quarterback at a certain point. So with Lance, look at Wentz. Wentz was on an MVP pace in season 2. He was like Mahomes before Mahomes. In that 2017 season, people thought he was just gonna be the next Andrew Luck, and he was on pace for it. And then he scrambled into the end zone, tore his ACL, never been the same.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find a balance. I mean, right now, in my opinion, the best scrambling quarterback is Russell Wilson, but he is the best scrambling quarterback, in my opinion, just because he just changed the style of play. He throws the ball way more than he threw it before when he started playing quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion.
I always felt like with Russell Wilson too, he does most of his running behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
he'll have maybe one zone read where he picks up a first down or a touchdown, or a couple of scrambles where he'll get you two, but he protects himself. He slides, he gets out of bounds, and he does most of his running behind the line of scrimmage to throw down the field. Yeah. Trey Lance is more like Cam Newton, more like young Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz was the same way as Trey Lance at North Dakota State, just running over people because he was the most athletic player on a Division II field. Well, now you're in the NFL, and you might run over a couple of people, but if you do that for 2 seasons, 3 seasons, you're going to end up like Carson Wentz. So he needs to be smarter than that and, learn from Carson Wentz's mistakes.
Yeah, and be more like Russell Wilson, not like Cam Newton.
That's right. That is right. That's a good advice. Let's end on that. Botond, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure as always.
Always a pleasure.
My best wishes for everyone watching us. And,
all right,
and guys, I will make a petition to make Grant verified on Twitter. You have to sign it.
Maybe what?
I will make a petition to make you verified on Twitter.
Oh, thank you so much. I already applied once to get verified and they denied me. So we'll see what happens. I'll try again. What else was I going to say? Nothing, I guess.
What's your next show?
Oh yeah. You and me. We got to reschedule next week because I'm going to be on vacation. I'm coming back a week from today. So we'll talk.
Sounds great.
Just know everyone, I'm going on vacation. I'm taking 5 days, but I'm gearing up. I want to be recharged for training camp in the season because hopefully this season is going to like build some suspense. Last year, the entire train fell off the tracks week 2. I don't know if you remember that. That was not good for my money and my bottom line. So Niners, can you just keep it going a little bit longer this year? Please. Thank you, everyone. I'll be back around 3 exactly with Jackhammer. See you guys then. Take care.
See you guys.